All right, Gaza, we're live. Welcome to episode 44 of the Pro Go Baduk Weiqi podcast. I'm Xiao Dai, and we have Gaz. And
Yep.
who do we have
We
there?
have me. I'm here. Gaz
Yeah,
is here.
you're Gaza, Yeah, Gaza. This is a very exciting week of Go. So let's get started. Now, Gaza, we were looking at Kisei game 3, I think it was. Day 1, and we were up to here. This is how the day ended, and the seal move has been
Wait, wait,
played.
wait, 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 wait. Hang on,
Yeah,
hang
yeah.
on.
Hang on.
This
Yeah.
is game 3 of the Kisei, yeah?
Kiza, yeah.
So this is between Shibano Toramaru
And
and
Ichiriki Ryo.
Ichiriki Ryo.
And Shibano Toramaru is black. Ichiriki is white.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's just do a quick look at the board, right? So Ichiriki's white group here got captured, okay? But Ichiriki's kind of invaded black's territory, so it's got a really solid alive group here. And white's got all this territory, most of this, and black's 2 corners are still invadable somewhat, both of these. So black's pretty much only got 1 corner, and I wasn't able to really assess this situation really well because there's this white group that's dead in the middle, but apparently Ichiriki is leading by a lot. And what's happened was Shibano just played this black move attachment, and Ichiriki responded here, and we were guessing which move Shibano was gonna play, you know. And I was guessing things like, or maybe just try to build a moyo as big as possible. Maybe that's good enough. But Gaza, what was your move that you guessed, mate?
Well, I guessed a local move. I guess that Shibano would just pull back to E11.
Yeah. And Gaza, that was exactly the move that was made. Congratulations.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I don't think the AI liked this move anyway.
Right.
And usually when I predict what a pro is going to play, it usually ends up being a bad move,
Yeah.
regardless. But I think the issue here is that black needs to get something out of the top left corner.
Right.
He can't just give up all of that. Otherwise, there's just no way to win this game. So I think what Shibano's trying to do is just make everything really complicated.
Yeah.
And hope that Ichiriki has a misread somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think that Shibano was still looking at this top left corner, this top left quadrant, I guess.
Yeah.
And it turned out that basically the rest of the game was focused on this region, and essentially white was trying to kill everything in this area, and black was trying to make something live.
Yeah, I get the sense that people also think that there's actually not really any good options for black. So these kind of suggestions that I had, like, because it's so empty down here, like I don't know if white just throws in a stone. I'm not really sure if black can even kill it. So that's probably just not a great option. At this pull out, I was just thinking, well, that isn't just really heavy. Like if I was white, I wouldn't even spend any time reading. I just play here. But then I think the impression that I got was that people thought it was like there's no good options, and Shibano felt like that he had to do something here, otherwise he would lose anyway. So he decided to do it here. But let's put it into context. I think Ichiriki, according to AI, is at around 90% or more at this point. So it's not really that close. And and the game continues. So Ichiriki played locally, and then Shibano tried even more stuff by playing here, and then Ichiriki just kept attacking, and Shibano just comes out. Ichiriki says, "No, all of you is gonna die inside," and Shibano says, "Okay, I'm gonna try to live." And Shibano really did try really hard to live, didn't he? Like he just made so many moves here, and it's still not
But
alive.
again, well, on the other hand,
Mm,
Ichiriki was responding to every
yeah,
everything. Ichiriki didn't Tanuki either,
no, I
and I think yeah, I think this sort of exemplified sort of the urgency
mm,
or of this corner. Basically,
mm,
whoever came out on top in this corner would win the game.
yeah,
So Ichiriki, he didn't Tanuki simply because he knew that if he was able to kill all of black here,
mm,
he would win.
yeah,
There's nothing black could do.
yeah. I think Ichiriki. I think Ichiriki is having such a big lead that I think even if he kind of fails to kill, but imagine White got thicker on the outside, but kind of failed to kill this black group. White can easily do things like this, that's gonna reduce black
Yes,
by a lot. I think
yes,
Ichiriki.
the game wouldn't be over if
No,
black was able to make something live.
correct, correct. I think Ichiriki's got so many paths to victory. I don't think he's kind of at risk at this point. But they keep playing. So Ichiriki, cut Shibano off, and ultimately Shibano just did some Atari. Tried the best he can. He eventually, encircles some white stone, but it was no use because Ichiriki is going to take that one stone.
Yes, and Ichiriki also allowed black to
Mm.
get some eye space, but
Yeah.
he made sure to do it in such a way that the eye shape
Mm.
wasn't good
Yeah.
for black. Basically, black couldn't get two eyes.
Yeah. Now at this point, to my eyes, it looks like maybe it's slightly dangerous for Ichiriki because this corner isn't fully alive. But I guess like Ichiriki could be have probably read it out. So after a few more moves, when Ichiriki Atari here, that's when Shibano resigned. It was just hopeless. This black group's dead. So that's Kisei game 3 and won by Ichiriki. So now Ichiriki is leading the best of 7 series 2-1.
I gotta say, I thought
Mm.
this game was probably well, I wouldn't say it's hard to say. I would say this was the most lackluster of the three Kisei games so far.
Right, yeah.
It was certainly instructive
Mm.
in the way that Ichiriki dealt with Black's sort of desperation.
Mm.
But other than that, it really wasn't much of a contest, I would say. Certainly not compared to the first two
Yeah.
Kisei games. That's just my opinion, though. Some people may enjoy this type of game.
Mm.
Like I said, it is instructive in some parts.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it wasn't the most exciting game in the world, especially considering how
it,
how
yeah,
quickly it fell behind.
yes. It was very much Black or Shibano was very much on the back foot for the whole game.
Yeah. So this is Ichiriki, I believe, after the game, where he's putting up, one finger per hand, showing that he's won 2 games out of 3 so far.
He's got some very long fingers.
He might play the piano, and this is them. I think after the game, explaining to the fans some of the moves. There's some fans at the live location. This is of course them during the game, and this hotel looks fairly nice. Yeah. So that's it for the Kisei, the open Kisei. But Gaza,
So
yeah,
yeah, so it's so yeah, like you said, it is 2-1 to Ichiriki, but it's best of 7. So
best
there's
of
going to be
7.
there has to be at least 2 more games.
Yeah. And when we look at the calendar, I think we'll see that there's one game coming up this week or next week.
Yeah, we'll find it when we look at the calendar. But yeah, that is the Kisei.
Yeah, so that's the Kisei. But now moving on to the women's Kisei, which let's just say created history. For the very simple reason that we have the youngest ever title holder from Japan being made in this competition.
Oh, really? Who is it?
That's Nakamura Sumire, pictured here. I believe she's 13 years old.
Nakamura Sumire. I've heard of her.
Yeah. And you have also heard of her opponent in this Kisei, which is Ueno Asami. And
Yeah, so this is the women's Kisei, which is very different from the open Kisei.
Right.
Firstly, the women's Kisei is best of 3.
Yep.
And it's also actually, as opposed to the open Kisei, which is 2-day games,
Yep.
these are actually quite fast games. The players get, the time controls are 30 seconds per move.
Yep.
With 10 1-minute Byoyomis.
Yep.
So it's actually quite a fast game.
Yep.
And also, so Ueno Asami, it is a challenger title holder system. So Ueno Asami was the reigning women's Kisei.
Yep.
And the challenger is determined just by a straight knockout. And Sumire won that.
Yep.
So she was the one that was challenging Ueno Asami.
Yep.
And we covered the first 2 games in the previous podcasts. Ueno Asami won the first game, and then Sumire won the second game by half a point.
Yep.
So it went to a decider. So this is game 3. This is the deciding game. Whoever wins this game will win the women's Kisei crown.
Yeah, Gaza, I think you failed to notice one of the key differences between the Kisei, open Kisei, and the women's Kisei. And that is the on the live stream, the banner for the women's Kisei is pink. And also the background is a bit pinkish. So, yeah. Crucial detail there.
Crucial detail. Well, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
The reason being because for games 2 and 3 of the Kisei, there was no free live stream on YouTube.
Right.
Unfortunately.
No. I did end up paying, skipping a coffee just so I could pay for it. I paid for it. It's about $5 Australians, which would be about a cup of coffee. That would give me access for a month. I just paid for it just to see this. But there was no
dedication.
Yeah, there's no free to air for this one, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, now Gaza, shall we have a look at the Kifu, which I thought was just nuts in places.
Yeah, I do want to have a look at the Kifu. While there was no stream, I was following there were live Kifus available for free, and I was following the live Kifu, and it was quite. There were definitely some interesting moments in this game.
Yeah, now in this game, they did nigiri. So Ueno Asami is black and Sumire is white. Now, Gaza, I thought this move was very interesting because it does feel like the one space jump is relatively small given the board how open the board is. But obviously, black is trying to set up an opportunity to attack this white group. So, and when I looked at AI, this move didn't drop any points. So, but it's a very interesting move for me.
It does look a little slow to me.
Yeah.
Like, I would say it looks like the kind of move I would play in the opening.
Yeah, no, solid player. But as I mentioned, the interesting thing was that AI didn't hate it. It was okay. So maybe it was a crucial point to occupy. So they were just setting up the board, jumping in everywhere. And I think the first interesting fight kind of started here, where Sumire just says, "Nope, your black stone descending into there is just way too much. I'm not gonna let you get out of this easily." So she decides to cut this black group off. So let's look at what's actually happened, because now look at this black group is completely been cut off. But white's not so flash either. It's in about to go in 3 pieces probably, and so white Atari. This is the AI move. But at this point, when black pushed here, AI says white should just let black live, just extend.
Yes.
And that's I think AI just kind of sensing that it's actually not possible to attack this black very effectively, because when I'm not sure if it's like a misread by Sumire or what it is. I think obviously black Ataring here and extending doesn't work, because white can just capture these black stones. So this Atari straight away doesn't work. But this Atari looks very complicated to me. So
yes, but actually black can make an exchange first at R9.
Yeah, and I think this this potentially is the move that Sumire had missed, or maybe she didn't miss it, but she didn't think this move is just that all that great. But
no, she definitely missed it because she didn't. She ended up, as you said, that Q3 Atari is it's after the R9 exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, Q3 is a very powerful move by Black.
Yeah, because I think what you mean is that if White say connects here, then this now works. There's no longer that attachment that works for White.
No. After Q10, Black should play Q3 still.
Should still play here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Then I don't know what's happened, but what this exchange is doing. But
the problem is that the N3 group of stones is also
N3. Yep. Yeah. So, well, so that's why this is actually this move is actually quite powerful now that if Black gets this exchange, so. But Sumire at this point probably realized that that's not a viable option, so she just captured this one stone. And
it's definitely
and now
Sumire definitely wasn't planning to give up all of that right side. So it's clearly a misread by Sumire.
Yeah, so she probably had a misread, and honestly, this is like a fast game, so mistakes like that probably are just expected. So I think after this, supposedly, according to AI, Ueno Asami as Black is doing quite well because obviously it destroyed the whole side over here. But now the situation becomes that Black is running one group, White is running one group, and it got on to a really interesting fight. So, and at this point, obviously Black has this attachment here, but Sumire still decided to jump on the top. So this attachment did come. And they ended up fighting this Ko.
Yes.
And this is very, very interesting. So obviously,
and this is a Ko in a speed game, so it's always going to be exciting.
Yeah. So they fight a Ko a little bit.
Now, can you go back to move 96?
96. Yep.
So what I don't understand is Black's move here to play the
wedge.
The wedge.
Yeah.
I would have because. Now, I would have. I was expecting L10. I think L10 is better.
Like that?
Yes. White will probably.
Yeah, so White can't cut easily, I guess.
Yeah, and then can't Black fill in the Ko at some point?
Fill in the. So okay, Black probably want to do this kind of thing. So Black is now running against this White group, and this White group does look weaker, and Black probably can find a chance to get rid of this, but it's hard to say. But I guess I can
I think that I think that L10 would have allowed Black to have Sente and take the Ko, or even play something daring like H5. Or something like that. Just capture at E6. Yeah.
I wonder what happens here. I guess I have the Atari first, and I don't know. Then the rest looks pretty complicated.
It does look complicated, actually.
Yeah. So it's Black in a fight against this White group, which I think
I think Black's doing okay, but no, I haven't read it out. To be honest, I haven't read it out, but I still think that. Okay, but. In any case, L11 gives up Sente.
Right. This move,
Yes,
Atari.
Because White plays L12, so Black has to play L10 anyway, and then White just takes the Ko.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't understand that move, but maybe L10 doesn't work anyway.
Yeah. Well, they can't just have to kind of fight this Ko. Now this is a very interesting point in the Ko because now supposedly if Black wants to win this Ko now, Black has to find a Ko threat. But I feel that maybe perhaps Black just couldn't find an immediate Ko threat that kind of looks immediately threatening. So Black play this move, and I guess the idea is that now this Black group at worst can be kind of in a capturing race with this White group over here. But this move is actually very interesting. And then Sumire connected here, and I honestly tried to run AI for like more than 2 million runs because because apparently Ueno Asami's next move lost her lots of points. I was trying to understand what AI is thinking, because now initially the AI thought that taking is good, but if I run it for a long time, I'm using Kata Go, like around 100,000 or so moves, AI starts to think that this is the better move, which means that Black's trying to fight it out with White. And I guess the obvious issue here is that White can push through and cut, but AI still thinks that this is the better move, which is actually very interesting, because getting White and Black tangled together into a fight is what AI considers to be good. But to me, this just looks hugely dangerous. Like, looks so dangerous. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen. If I can avoid it, if I can win the game some other way, I would really think twice about just playing moves like this and really just invest, kind of having to win this capturing race somehow. That's how I feel like. But maybe there's something about AI that I don't understand. But what's interesting was that obviously Ueno Asami thought that this push and cut is just immediate. It just doesn't look good, so she connected here, which allowed.
I think I can understand. I can understand playing K9 just because she probably like you said, it would be a capturing race.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and even for pros, at these speed controls, they probably just don't know.
Yeah.
And the AI says that it was fine to leave that and to retake the code, but the pros probably wouldn't know. And if they judgment isn't, or the intuition isn't right, it could be game over.
Yeah. Now, I guess the easy way out, or the more safer way, if you're not really sure, as Sumire now, is kind of to jump kind of somewhere around here. So try and connect your group, and now these two stones are really weak. But then that also allowed Ueno Asami to come out, kind of thing. So Sumire didn't make this choice. She took this stone, which was also the AI recommended move. I guess obviously it's kind of expecting something like want Ueno Asami to connect and then keep attacking. But Ueno Asami, now this is actually why this game is very interesting, because now Ueno Asami played the AI recommended move, which was the AI recommended move from 2 moves ago. But this is no longer enough. She's already down at the less than 10% range. And the only difference was that AI recommended her to play here, where she made an exchange before playing here. So therefore, this take by White must be worth a lot more, because she kind of ended up finding the right idea. But it's just that she made one exchange here, which kind of helped her extend some liberty.
Well, but, wouldn't it? Isn't simply the fact that White's group is now no longer under threat the reason?
Yeah, this White group, and that but this was also the AI recommended move 2 moves ago. So anyway, so I think according to AI now, Ueno Asami is already behind by quite a lot. But the game actually didn't get any simpler. It just keep getting more complicated. You can see what's happened, because at this point this Black group obviously is in some trouble, but this White group also has some issues and this is exploited by Ueno Asami here, how she cut. So what Ueno Asami has created here is one White group that's not fully alive, another White group here that's not fully alive, and she even though her Black group is in danger, she's got some room to maneuver, and maybe that it looks so look how complicated this whole thing ended up being. This White group is not alive. All these White stones here are not alive. It's in a capturing raid with this Black group, and now they ended up fighting a code, and Black makes a move to try and kill White. So this is still very, to my eyes, very, very complicated, because there's still so many things that are not alive on either side. But it does look like a bit slightly worse for Ueno Asami. But anyway, Ueno Asami ended up winning this ko. But also Sumire lived with the top group there. So now
and the group on the
yeah
the right.
yeah. So Sumire made this group alive, and now I guess now it's just that I think Ueno Asami, Atari, and I don't think she can for example connect. Can she? Don't think so. No, I don't think she can connect. So yeah, so this black group is connected back to the so this black group is also now safe. But then Sumire cut. I'm noticing an issue in black shape. So why did black take here? I'm thinking.
I'm thinking that maybe perhaps Sumire could connect.
Connect?
I mean, perhaps white could connect.
And then like this? Am I missing something?
Let me just quickly check my AI. Oh, you can make another ko. Play at B10.
B10. And then
what does black do?
Yeah, okay, so it's tricky. All right, so yeah, there's some okay, so that's black and Atari first, and then you have to ko, I guess.
Black makes a ko, and black will still win the ko, but white gets 2 moves. So
so
it's worse than what happened in the game.
So Ueno taking is kind of okay, but I think by this point, it might just be a bit too late for Ueno Asami. I don't think she's got enough points. Yeah.
Yes, it turns out even black even manages to capture those white stones in the middle.
Yeah.
But it's not enough because so black gets the white stones in the middle, but white actually managed to get the top left corner.
Top left corner, yeah.
Yeah. So it was basically an exchange.
Yeah.
I think black had to capture those white stones while still living in the top left.
Right.
And yeah, so white plays that nice to Suji at D19. Pretty basic to Suji.
I'm pretty sure.
And from there it's all over.
I think the black group is alive. But I think white destroyed quite a bit over here.
Oh, is the group alive?
Yeah.
Wait, what, really?
Because you can't destroy this eye now. And there's one eye here.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
But it doesn't matter. I think white still destroyed quite a bit of territory over here. So I think it was okay to lose this group, it looks like. But anyway, Sumire ended up winning. And I think that's when the game ended. This looks complicated. I don't think it doesn't look like a ko to me.
Yeah, right. Black did actually live in the top left. Why I don't know why I thought black died.
Yeah.
Sumire, all of those stones in the bottom left are whites.
Yeah.
So
that was a good win for Sumire. She won the Kisei 2-1. So therefore she will now be the next Kisei waiting for her challenger. So now she was like very, very, very happy. Let's put it this way. And this is another set of photos where the reporters were in the room. There's quite a lot of reporters, and of course this Sumire winning a title at such a young age made huge news in Japan. There was a lot of clips online where she's being interviewed and etc. So hopefully she will increase the participation of Go in Japan. So.
And I think it should be reiterated. Obviously, we talk about Sumire a lot.
Yeah.
But it should be reiterated, just how impressive this is. Because she didn't go through the Insei system.
Yeah.
She was selected specifically to go directly to pro as like a prodigy.
Yeah.
So, and she was I think she was the first such Japanese professional to be given a pro certificate in that way.
Right.
So it was, I guess, sort of unknown as to how good she was, like as to how well she would fare in the professional system.
Yep.
Um, initially, but she's she's gone from strength to strength since she's turned pro,
Yep.
and she's only been a professional for 3 years, I believe,
Yep.
and she's already won a title now. And this isn't even her first final. This is her third final. We've
Yep.
mentioned before she was in the women's Meijin final and also the domestic Senko Cup final.
Yep.
Um, so I think, yeah, it can't really be underestimated just how impressive this is.
Yep.
And she's still only 13 years old. So I think this not only is good for sort of the popularity of Go in Japan overall, but it is a positive for that sort of selection, like very young selection process
Yep.
that they use to select Sumire.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it's very interesting that she was probably one of the first to get selected like that. So
Yeah, I don't know of anyone else before her, and I certainly not in Japan at least.
yep. So yep. So just congrats to Sumire for winning the Kisei. And we shall look at the next set of results. Now, Gaza, moving away from
Do we
Japan,
wait? Do we have any? Did we have any interviews or anything? Were there any comments
I
by
I don't
Sumire?
I don't remember any reading any interviews about her
Yeah.
win. To be honest, I kind of just expected kind of the usual. Probably like, oh yeah, I won this, and I was really happy, whatever. I didn't read it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have nothing to say
Also,
about that.
it's also interesting to remember. We also find out that Ueno Asami is very strong at these fast games.
Yeah.
She's won the Young Cup twice,
Mm.
which has the same time controls as the women's Kisei.
Yeah.
So yes, even more impressive for Sumire to win this. It's sort of Asami's sort of favorite time controls.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, so that's Sumire. Now, Gaza, I think maybe we should just move away from Japan for a little bit and look at some results in Korea. So we had another competition finishing in Korea, which is the Crown Haitai Under 25 tournament,
Yes.
and that was won by Shin Minjun over Park Guenho in the final. Is there anything you want us to mention about this competition, Gaza? This Park Guenho?
Yes. So we mentioned this final in a previous podcast.
Mm.
Minjun, the current Myungin champion, against Park Kyun Ho, who's looking for his first title. He's a top 10 in Korea.
Yep.
Now, this is, yeah, so like you said, this is an under 25 tournament. So most of the best under 25 players participate in this. Shinjin So is notably absent. He doesn't really play in any restricted tournaments, I found.
Yep.
He only really plays in the opens. But the previous champion Byun Sang-il was playing. He got knocked out in the quarterfinals,
Right.
I believe.
We can probably check that. But
Yes.
yeah,
But
so
so this final was this tournament has a best of 3 final,
yeah,
and in the end, Shin Minjun ended up winning 2-0.
yeah, which is a good win. So yeah, and
Yeah, I didn't see the games.
right,
I didn't follow the game. I know I followed them a little bit. I don't think that the games were particularly close.
right. And
Um,
Gaza, I mean, you mentioned that Park Guenho is a top 10 player in Korea, and we'll actually look at the Korean rankings next. And for those who are interested, obviously there's this website that contains the records, and I think Park Guenho in this competition he beat Yoon Sang Sik. I don't know. I don't know if they actually translated that wrong, and also beat Kim Hyun Bin, and also beat. He didn't beat anyone else that was too
yeah,
crazy.
Kim Hyun Bin is actually the one who beat Byun Sang Il.
Right.
So Byun Sang Il lost in the round of 16.
Yeah, the Kim Hyun Bin. Yep.
Yeah, Park Hyun Ho in the round of 16, he beat Kim Kyung Yoon, who was
Yep.
in the Korea Women's Strongest
Yep.
League.
Yep.
Then yeah, Kim Hyun Bin in the quarterfinals, and who did you say? Yoon.
What's it? Yoon Sang Sik.
Yoon Sang Seok.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. He's a two dan.
Yeah. Okay. Probably new. So Shin Min-jun had to overcome Gum Ji-woo and Choi Won-jin and also Park Ji-hyun, which is a strong player, and also Moon Min-jun. So it does look like Shin Min-jun had a tougher road to the final, but he also anyway beat Park Geun-ho in the final. So yeah, well done to Shin Min-jun for another win.
Yeah, Shin Min-jun he beat some quite high quality competition there.
Yeah.
And I believe Shin Min-jun and Park Hyun-ho also actually, neither of them had to qualify for this tournament. They were both selected as sponsor seeds.
Right.
They were selected as sponsor seeds along with OU Jin,
Right.
while Byun Sang-il got also qualified directly as the previous year's champion. But
right.
yeah, this is another title for Shin Min-jun.
Very
I'll
nice.
just quickly check. I will just quickly check how many titles that makes for him now. He should have maybe 4 or 5 by now.
Right.
While
you check-
7. He has 7 titles now.
Yep, very nice. Now, so for Shin Min-jun is ranked 5th in the latest Korean rankings, and Park Geun-ho is 8th. And unlike the Chinese Weiqi Association, the Korean Baduk Association do release their rankings fairly on time. So this is where what we're looking at is the January rankings. Now, I didn't bother translating all the names, but I'll just read through some of the interesting things that's happened in the rankings. Now, one of the interesting thing was that Park Jung-hwan returns to number 2 in the Korean rankings. So that means Byung Sang-il has dropped back to 3rd. And Choi Jong has achieved her career high ranking of 13.
Well, actually, last month she was at her career high ranking of 14.
Right. So just keep breaking records.
So she beat her ranking that she set, her ranking record that she set last month, and I'm pretty sure that's actually the highest ranking for a woman in Korea in the Korean rankings ever.
Including the legendary Rui Na-wei, she did.
Yeah, I believe Rui Na-wei never made the top 15 in Korean rankings. I could be wrong there, but I don't think she ever did.
Right.
Yeah. Now, also notable is Kim Ji-sok is back into the top 10.
Very nice.
Yes.
So guys, I'm going to just read through the rankings because I didn't bother translating them into Roman characters. But sarcastically, someone was commenting who's first. Surprise, Shin Jin-seo.
Oh yes, so Shinjin So is number one in the Korean rankings, and this is his 38th straight month.
Yeah. And then second, of course, we talked about it's Park Jun-hwan, and third is Byung Sang-il. Fourth is Kang Dong-yun. Fifth is Shin Minjun. Sixth is Lee Dong-hoon still, believe it or not.
Yes, Lee Dong-hoon is sixth. He hasn't played in maybe 11 months now.
Right.
He will. I don't know how long. There is a period where if you're absent for a long enough time, you will just be removed from the rankings. I don't know how long that is, but if it's 12 months, then he will probably fall off in a couple of months.
Yeah.
But as of now, he's still there.
Yeah. And if Choi Jong holds on to her 13th ranking, then she may, make another record just because Lee Dong-hoon's dropping out. Oh well. And also at 7th is Won Sung-jin powering back to the top 10. He's at 7th.
Yes.
And then we have Park Guenho and Kim Min-hyun, Kim Ji-sok. And after that, it's just like Park Ha-min, An Sung-jun.
Yeah, Park Ha-min's not too active at the moment. He has played. He does participate in the Maxim Cup.
Yeah. And
maybe one or two other tournaments that he gets invited to, but otherwise he's on military service. So.
Yeah. Now someone's saying if Lee Dong-hoon on military service, he certainly is not. I think he just wants to quit. Yeah.
And that's Hanamaru Alice asking that. Yeah, so we've mentioned this in a podcast quite a while ago, but Lee Dong-hoon is essentially retired.
Yeah.
He's not interested in playing Baduk anymore. He wants to do something else.
Yeah.
In his career.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. He's basically retired. But since he didn't like formally resign from the Korean Professional Association in the same way that Lee Sedol did.
Yeah.
He's still a professional. And so he's still on the rankings until he goes inactive. Yeah. But he's for all intents and purposes, his career is over.
Yeah. Well, never right love a comeback. But number 8 is Park Guenho. And Gaza, does Park Guenho sitting at number 8 in the Korean ranking say anything about the quality of the players above number 8 in
I find Park Guenho at 8 to be a little bit. It feels like he's just gotten there by beating lower ranked players.
Right.
He has participated in world majors before, but he's never come across to me as someone who is a threat.
Yeah.
You would consider to be a threat in a world major. So to see him at number 8 essentially says to me, there are at most 7 players in Korea that are good enough to win a world major.
And one of them is already retired, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
But I mean that's just perhaps it's the rankings are not all that perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
There are definitely some good players ranked below Park Yun-ho. Kim Young-hun and Kim Ji-sok are both strong players. Yeah. So.
And now, Gaza, speaking about rankings, I know that in the Korean League, Team Taiwan and Team Japan were coming last in the respective divisions in the league. How has their ranking, or if their ranking have changed in the recently, Gaza?
Oh, we're talking about the
Korean League. Yeah.
Well, let's have a look. I don't think since the last podcast, I don't think Team Japan has played.
Right.
I'll just quickly check. They have not.
No. Okay. Cool.
So Team Japan have not lost a match since we last recorded.
Yep. Pretty good.
Team Taiwan have played twice.
Right.
And speaking of the Korean League is actually happening right now.
Right.
Team Celtrion are playing Team Korea Price Information. Yes. So there are some good games there. And in fact, not only are there some good games, but they're actually live streaming them on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm going to post a link to the stream so people can watch it right now if they want. Definitely going to be some good games there.
Yeah.
But speaking of Team Taiwan
Yeah.
in the Korean League, now they played twice.
Right.
And, well, before either of them played, we had an interesting result on Friday last week.
Right.
Just after we finished recording the podcast.
Right. Yes.
During that podcast, Team POSCO Chemical were playing Team Kicks.
Yep.
Now, some of you who are familiar with the Korean League would know that Team Kicks is Shin Jin-so's team.
Yep.
And the Team POSCO Chemical, that's Won Song-jin's team. Won Song-jin used to be a teammate of Shin Jin-so.
Yep.
And this was an interesting match. On the first board, Shin Jin-so beat Park Min-kyu quite easily.
What is wet? Yep.
The second board, Han Woo-jin beat Kim Seung-jae.
Kim
Now, Kim
Seung-jae.
Seung-jae for Team Kicks, he's not having a good league at the moment.
Yep.
It's not that he's just getting steamrolled every game. He seems to actually make a contest each time, and often gets to a winning position, but just can't seem to convert them into actual wins.
Right.
And seem to have failed again this time. Now, board 3 was very interesting. It was Won Song-jin versus Park Jin-sol.
Right.
Now, Park Jin-sol, before this game, had a very good Korean League. I think he'd only lost one game before then.
Very nice.
But he made an uncharacteristic mistake or bad move, which Won Song-jin took advantage of, and Park Jin-sol ended up losing.
Right.
But for Team Kicks, their fourth player, Bae Kyung-woo, beat POSCO Chemical's fourth player, Kang Yu-taek. So that made it 2-2.
Yep.
And that means it went to an ace match. Yet another ace match for Team Kicks. They seem to have an ace match every time.
Yep.
Now, POSCO Chemical obviously brought out their top player, Won Song-jin. Now, the question for Kicks is who would they bring out? The obvious answer would have been Shin Jin-so.
Yeah.
But there was some reasoning as to why you wouldn't pick him. Firstly, Shin Jin-so had already played in, I believe, 2 ace matches.
Right. Yeah.
I think
2,
this.
yes.
Yes, I think this. Before this game, he played in. He'd played in 2.
Yep. That's right.
Now, there is a rule that you can only a single player can only play in 6 ace matches in a season.
Right.
So eventually, if they keep playing Shin Jin-so, eventually he'll use up his quota. And then the question is, like, you want to use Shin Jin-so 6 times, of course. You want to use him as much as he can, but you also want to make sure that you use him only when you have to.
Right.
When no one else can win the ace match. And the other problem was that Shin Jin-so had already played 2 games that day.
Right.
He'd obviously played on board 1, beating Park Min-kyu, but he'd also actually played in the KBS Cup semi-final.
Right.
Just a few hours earlier.
Right.
So this would, if he was to play the ace match, he would have played his third game for the day. Now, the problem with Kicks is that Park Jin-sol had already just lost to Won Song-jin, so for that reason they probably didn't want to bring him out.
Yep.
But their other 2 players, I mean, Kim Seung-jae is just having a terrible league, so
Yep.
he was not an option. And Bae Kyung-woo is their fourth player, so he wasn't an option either.
Yep.
So in the end, they ended up playing Shin Jin-so. Despite the fact that it was his third game, he was still the favorite to win this game because, he was on a 36 game win streak in the Korean League, but he ended up losing.
Damn.
Won Song-jin ended up winning this game.
Yep.
Which is, quite obviously every time Shin Jin-so loses, it's almost newsworthy every time he loses, because it's so rare. This is in fact his first loss for the Korean League and his first loss in any competition this year.
Oh wow. Yep.
So Won Song-jin ends up winning it for POSCO Chemical. Shin Jin-so, his win streak in the Korean League ends at 36 games.
Very nice.
So, which is still a record for Korea in an open tournament. 36 game win streak. But yeah, well done to Won Song-jin and Team POSCO Chemical.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. Now on the Sunday, this was where Team Taiwan showed up.
Yep.
And they played Team Wonick.
Yep.
Who seemed to be, despite my, thoughts before the beginning of the season, Team Wonick seemed to be one of the stronger teams in the league.
Wow.
And it's mainly because of of what I call the three Lees.
Oh.
Lee Ji-hyun, Lee Chang-seok, and Lee Young-kyu.
Yep.
And all three of those were in action for Team Wonick.
Yep.
Now, on board one, Lee Young-kyu played for Taiwan Jianjing Ting.
Yep.
And Lee Young-kyu. Now, Jianjing Ting is apparently the 7th seed for Team Taiwan.
Right. Yeah.
So he would have been an underdog, and Lee Young-kyu did end up winning this game.
Yep.
Now, board 2 was the feature game, Lee Ji-hyun versus Zhu Haihong.
Yep.
And Zhu Haihong, he's having a decent Korean league, but it wasn't to be on this occasion. He fell to Lee Ji-hyun.
Nice.
Now, Lee Ji-hyun, on the other hand, he's actually participating in the Jia League, the Chinese Jia League, and he's having an absolute shocker of a Jia League.
Yeah.
But he's actually undefeated, I believe, he's undefeated in the Korean League so far. 5 wins.
Very nice. Yep.
Yes. Now, board 3, Team Taiwan.
Yep.
Lin Junyan. He actually beat Song Ji-hoon.
Was it Wang Yunjun or Lin Junyan?
Lin Junyan.
So the website must have had the wrong person listed here. Yeah.
They do. It was Lin Junyan.
Okay.
There's a live stream of it.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Now, but the problem so the issue was that was board 3. However, it was the 4th game to finish.
Right.
And the 3rd game to finish did not go in Team Taiwan's favor. So Team Taiwan actually lost the first 3 games to finish.
Damn.
And so they ended up losing 3-1.
Yep.
So the last game, board 4, this was the 3rd game to finish. It was Lee Chang-seok versus Chen Churi.
Yep.
And yeah, so obviously Lee Chang-seok won that game. I think that was a pretty dominant win as well for Lee Chang-seok, I believe.
Very
but
nice.
In any case, Team Taiwan, they did lose this game, this match.
Yep.
They didn't even go to an ace match either. So they were stuck on 1 match win from 5.
Yep.
However, they had an almost immediate opportunity to redeem themselves.
Yep.
So that was on Sunday. Now, the following Wednesday, so 2 days ago as of this recording, Team Taiwan were up again, and this time it's against Team Kicks.
Team Kicks.
And what are you thinking? You're thinking, wait, isn't that Shin Jin-so's team? Yes, it is.
That is, yes.
Now, Yeah, so this was going to be an interesting one. Basically, the best player
Yeah.
in Korea
Yeah.
against the best player in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Imagine if Shin Jin-so got to play against Zhu Haohong.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they don't. It's not prearranged beforehand who plays who.
Right.
Basically, the teams, they pick which players go on which board,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Before they find out what the other team's done.
Yeah.
So it turned out that board one was Zhu Haohong versus Kim Seung Jae. So, and like I said, Kim Seung Jae, he's having a bit of a nightmare this Korean league,
Yeah.
and he was in a very good position against Zhu Haohong. Initially, Zhu Haohong was winning,
Mm.
was leading at the beginning, but then he made a mistake, and Kim Seung Jae was up, I think, like 95% or something like that, according
Yeah.
to AI.
Yep.
But like I said, Kim Seung Jae just does not seem to be able to convert these to wins, and
Yep.
he ended up again failing to get the victory here
Yeah.
and falling short. So Zhu Hong did win on board one.
Yep.
I'll just quickly see what Kim Seung Jae's record is in the Korean League. Apologies to Kim Seung Jae. He's won one win, five losses.
Yep. That's
So
not good. That's not great.
that's not good.
Yeah. Uh,
Now board two. This is the one you want to talk about, right?
yeah. Um,
Lin Ling Zhang versus Shin Jin So.
yeah. And guys, I've got to address the elephant in the room there. How did can Lin Yishang conjure up some magic against Sinjin So, or is he just gonna crumble?
Well, Lin Ling Zhang was actually looking to be the first, I believe, the first Taiwanese player
Mm.
to beat Shin Jin So in an official professional game.
Right.
I believe that's the case. I believe that Shin Jin So has not lost to a Taiwanese player in an official game.
Right.
And Lin Li Zhang, could he be the first? And the answer was a most resounding no.
No, I think his game was the first to finish, if I'm not wrong.
It was definitely the first to finish, and it was a very short game, and
Yeah.
it was a very uneventful game.
Yeah.
He was completely blown away
Yeah.
by Shinjin. So it really just looked like
Yeah.
Shinjin So is just in another class,
Yeah.
and you could see Lin Li Zhang's facial expressions,
Mm.
like basically it gave off the impression of, why did I even bother
Right. Yeah.
turning on the computer,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, poor bloke. But
Yeah.
no, there was really, yeah, I think he lost. I think he lost a corner. He
Yeah.
lost a corner quite badly with very little compensation,
Right.
and yeah, there was just no coming back from that. So um,
That's that for
yeah, that's that.
for
So then board three was Park Jin Sol versus Jan Jin Ting.
right.
And this one was a bit of an upset. Jan Jin Ting actually won this game.
Very nice.
So that meant that Team Taiwan was actually up 2-1.
Nice.
And so it came down to board four. And board four was, for Team Kicks, it was Baekhyun Woo. And for Team Taiwan, it was Lin Junyan.
Yeah.
And I was expecting Lin Junyan to actually be the favorite here.
Right. Yep.
But he ended up, Baekhyun Woo ended up winning this one.
Right. That's not good.
Well, it's not good for Taiwan, but it's certainly good for Team Kicks.
Right.
Because that meant that they didn't lose 3-1. So they were going to at least get one match point and possibly two, depending on the ace match. Now, this is, I think, their fourth consecutive match that's gone to an ace game decider.
Right.
So then the question is, who do you this question was asked in the chat as well by Elon.
Yeah.
Who is going to be the ace player for Team Kicks? Were they going to put out Shinjinso yet again?
That's a good question.
Now, the answer was no. They actually put out Park Jin Sol.
All right.
And this is despite the fact that Park Jin Sol actually lost his game. He lost
Yeah.
to Jan Jin Ting.
Yeah.
Now, Team Taiwan, they actually, it turns out they actually have an internal policy where if it goes to an ace match, they'll use a different player, someone that didn't play in the first 4 rounds. Essentially, no one plays twice. None of the players will play twice in one day.
Yep.
That's just an internal policy for the Korean teams. They seem to exclusively use players that have already played one of the matches. But Team Taiwan seem to have this internal policy. Perhaps it's to ensure that it's a more even distribution of playing time.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not sure. But in any case, they actually brought out their bottom seed, their 8th seed, Zhu Jing'an.
Right.
Who is like I said, not only the 8th seed for Team Taiwan, but he's actually the youngest player in the Jia League.
Yep.
He's only 16.
Very nice.
16 years old. So he's actually younger than Han Wujin.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that age and perhaps inexperience did show because Park Jin Sol had a very easy game in the ace match and disposed of Zhu Jing'an quite comfortably. Yeah. By the way, this is actually Zhu Jing'an's first game in the Korean League. So yeah, he hadn't played in any of the previous matches.
Right. Yep.
But once again, Team Taiwan are not able to get the win, which means that after winning their first match, they've now lost 5 straight matches.
Yep.
And in their group, they're stuck at the bottom they've got 5 match points. But yeah, they're after such a promising start, it's a bit difficult for them. Meanwhile, Team Kicks is now solidly in second place in their group, only behind Team POSCO Chemicals.
Right.
So it's not looking too bad for Team Kicks, although you would hope for their sake that Kim Seung-jae can find some form. I think that would probably see them challenging for first.
Yep.
Now someone's asking in the chat, how did Team Taiwan actually win a match? Well, they actually won the very first match.
Yeah.
The very first match of the entire Korean League, and it was against Team Celtrion.
Yep.
That's Kim Myung-hoon's team.
Yep.
And yeah, they used their top 4 players. So Zhu Haohong, Wang Wanjun, and Lin Junyan, they all won. Wang Wanjun notably won against Kim Young-hoon. So it was quite impressive. And it gave me the impression that Team Taiwan could actually be a contender, a big contender.
Yeah.
Especially because of those 3 players. But since then, they've seemed to be more willing to experiment and use other players.
Right.
That don't seem to be as reliable as, Zhu Haohong and Wang Wanjun. And because of that, they're not getting the wins to win matches. So perhaps a different strategy for selecting players is needed to get back to their winning ways for Team Taiwan.
Yeah. So, but they're not now basically coming dead last in their group. So yeah, let's just see, because I think Team Japan is also facing the same fate. Team Japan is even worse.
The difference with Team Japan is that they haven't even won a match yet.
Yes. exactly.
according to Fukuoka Kataro's interview, he's one of the Team Japan players. One of their goals is to win a match.
Yeah.
So like that's something to aim for. With Team Taiwan, the thing is they got that goal out of the way instantly. So what's their goal now?
Yeah.
It seems like making the playoffs is a long shot, a very long shot.
Yeah.
So I mean, should they aim to come fifth, or who knows? Obviously, they can still make the playoffs. I don't think that we're even halfway through the Korean League yet. But yeah, they need to start. They got to win more matches, obviously.
Yeah. All right. So that's the Team Taiwan's performance in the Korean League. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about the Korean League, Gaza?
Only future games. I mean, there's this weekend. There's no Taiwan, Japan, or Shinjinso in the Korean League. Not this weekend, anyway.
Yeah.
But we'll look at next week's matches in the calendar at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so that's your Korean leagues. Now, after we cover the Korean leagues, let's have a quick look at Jia League. Now, I actually can't remember where we were up to. I think we were up to last week. We were up to covering the probably the regular season.
I think we were just looking at they just played some catch-up games.
Right, there's some
in the regular season. Yes.
Right.
So since then, they've finished the regular season.
Yep.
And we should probably look at, well, at the very least, we should look at the final standings.
Yes.
For the regular season. Because the way that the Jia League works is that there's 16 teams.
Yep.
And 8 make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So finishing in the top 8 is paramount. It's very important. And if you finish in the bottom 8, not only do you not make the playoffs, which means you can't become champion, but you're actually at risk of relegation. And so you play in a relegation battle.
Yeah.
So we should probably start by looking at how the teams finished.
Hopefully this table here is complete, but
now this table is not complete,
right?
Because each team played. Obviously, each team played everyone else once.
Yeah.
So there were actually 15 matches. So this table on this website is, the website you were on before.
Yeah.
Is it's short 2 matches.
Right. And I can't honestly recall where I had seen the end of the year tables. They probably should be somewhere, but let's just say that Shinjinso's team won the league. So
Shinjinso's team came first in the regular season.
Yes. They'll come first in the regular season. Now basically his team is quite stacked. So he's got Shinjinso, Shaker, Len Xiao, and Li Qingcheng, so they're like really top team.
But there was an interesting moment. So in round 14, I believe it was.
Yeah.
The manager for, I think, Super Hangzhou, that's the name of the team.
Yeah.
Decided not to pick Shinjinso.
Yeah.
And to put, I believe,
Shaker, yep.
in the main player spot.
That's right, yeah.
And they ended up losing the match.
Yeah, fortunately.
And yeah, people were commenting on this in the Discord, like, you sign up the best player in the world, you don't play him, and then you lose.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that say?
Yeah. I think that's why there was some talk that Shinjinso should really put in his contract that he should guarantee a minimum number of games. But I do believe now, what actually happens is that there's no advantage to being coming first or second. Coming first and second. are basically essentially the same in terms of the regular season.
They're
because,
essentially the same, yes.
yeah, because as you can see here in this chart, this is the progression chart for the grand champion and the 2 relegation spots. So the numbers here mean it basically indicates your finishing in the regular season. So as you can see, both if you come first or second, you kind of have to win 2 matches before you become the champion. So it actually makes absolutely no difference. So maybe Hangzhou were thinking that they can afford to not put Shin So out there, save some money, and train some young players. I bet that's what they were thinking.
Save some money.
Yeah, save some money. I bet. Well, Shin So does make a decent sum per win. I believe somewhere in the region of 150,000 renminbi. So that would be a decent amount of cash for one win.
That is a big chunk of change. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. So
now, yes, and one other notable occurrence in the Jia League regular season is that Iyama Yuta, he played.
He made another appearance. This is his 3rd appearance for the season.
Another appearance, his 3rd appearance. Now, his first appearance, he just lost.
Yeah.
But, whatever. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
I just got outplayed. I don't remember who it was against, but it was against a strong player.
Yeah.
And in the second game against Rong Yi,
yeah,
it was a very poor end game by Iyama. He was winning, and he just completely missed a Tsuji.
Yeah.
Very uncharacteristic. Mistake by Iyama. And lost to Rong Yi. Now, this third game, he played against Chen Zhang,
right?
Who was who before the long break in the Jia League was one of the strongest performers.
Right.
In the regular season.
Yes.
So he definitely had form prior the Jia League break. Yeah. And it turned out that he was too strong for Iyama, and Iyama lost, which meant in the regular season he went 0-3.
Yeah, which is pretty sad because the last season he went 2 for 2, and to go.
That's right. Yeah, 2-0, 2 wins, 0 losses. The only player with a perfect record in the Jia League.
Yeah.
But this year he went 0 wins, 3 losses, and like I said, that second game against Rong Yi is one of his worst.
Yeah.
And he was actually Ichiriki was also rostered to a Jia League team, but he didn't play any games.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And they were the only 2 Japanese players in the Jia League. Yeah. So Japan didn't record a single win in the Jia League regular season, at least.
Yeah.
And Taiwan, meanwhile, their only representative was Zhu Haohong.
Yeah.
He played 5 games and he went 0-5.
Yeah.
And so Taiwan also without a win in the Jia League.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Very, very disappointing.
Yeah. Now, just to give some context, Yama's opponent in the third game is Chen Xian over here. His win rate is in the top 10 in the Jia League, so he's no slouch. So it's he's like I think
like I said, one of the strongest performers in the Jia League.
Yeah, by the 14th round, he's won 10 games and out of 13. So that's pretty decent. Now, one player that I do like to focus on in the Jia League is Kerje. So Kerje returned by the 14th round. So as you mentioned at the beginning of the return of the Jia League, there was a bunch of catch-up rounds, catch-up games. And then by round 14, that's when they got into the business of the regular season. So round 14 and 15 were what they got played of the regular season in this session of Jia League. And Kerje played a game against Tojaji in the main player spot. And Kerje managed to win that one 1-0. So well done to Kerje. And then I think in the next round, Kerje played again. He played in the main player spot, I believe, against Guling Yi, and he lost that one. So Kerje's,
Guling,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Uncharacteristic to
yeah,
loss there for Kerje.
yeah. Now Gulingi, maybe he's no longer that like considered a top class player in China. He is actually just 32, which means that he's actually younger than Yamayuta. So yeah, so that's kind of a bit of an interesting thing that happened. So there's some picks in from the Jia League.
Yes, and I just noticed, we do have some Kerje fans in
Yeah,
the chat. They love it when we talk about Kerje.
yeah, Kerje. So this is Kerje here. I think there was also in the game that he lost. We also have a picture of Kerje's hair before and after the game. So I'm not sure if it's kind of listed here. But yeah, this is some really
that's
young player.
Huzi Hao, by
That's
the
Huzi
way.
Hao, yeah. Look how young he is. I think he also ended up winning a game in the Jia League as well, which is incredible.
Yeah, he actually had a strong finish in the Jia League.
Yeah, which is not bad. We have some other. I think that's all the things I
he
want.
actually beat a Korean player.
Right, I can't recall. He might have. He definitely played Xu Hao Hong and gave Xu Hao Hong another one of the games where he.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Zhu Hao Hong. Sorry, he beat Zhu Hao Hong. Yeah.
Now, if I'm not wrong, Kerje then loses to Yang Dingxin in the Jia League and also to Guling Yi. So overall, Kerje has lost 2 games so far already. And Kerje also played in the postseason.
Well, can we have a look at the regular season sort of statistics before we look at the postseason?
Right. So okay. So let's look at the statistics for the final for the regular season. So what we have here is maybe start by looking at the top 10 upsets. So Ye Changxin, part of Team Shanghai, beat Li Qingsheng. That's considered the biggest upset.
Yeah, Yi Chengxing is probably one of the least known players in the Jia League.
Yeah.
Like one of the lowest rated, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's only like 15.
And you can see Ayama's loss to Rong Yi is in the top 10 upsets.
I do believe that's kind of like a data anomaly. Maybe Yong Yi hasn't played that many games. I doubt a Jia League player can be rated this low. So that's probably just
that's actually a good point. Yeah,
it's actually just probably a data anomaly at some point. But yeah, can disregard that one. And Ye Changxing, just for context, I believe Team Shanghai is like bottom, like absolute bottom of the league. I think if this is correct, they've only won 2 points. Like that's just how garbage the team is.
That's Ichiriki's team, I believe.
Yes, Shanghai. That's Ichiriki's team. They didn't even have a chance to put out Ichiriki. I guess there's no point if you're coming dead last. What is the point of spending more money?
Yeah. So Team Shanghai. That's the team with Wang Ziyu in it.
Right. Yeah.
And I think we'll point out Wang Ziyu's performance in the Jia League.
Yeah, it's absolutely garbage, I guess. Okay, and then we have Kim Ji-sok losing to Lee Je-rei. That's also in the top 10 upsets. But honestly, I look at the rest. Kim Ming-hyun losing to Liu Zhaozhe is also on it, but nothing too much interesting there. Now, looking at the top 10 underperformers. So we got Tang Wei-xing, who has played 12 times, but only ended up winning 4 times. So his win rate is about 33%. We mentioned Xu Hao Hong. He's played 5 times, winning exactly 0. Lee Ji-hoon obviously hasn't had a great Jia League.
Yeah, Lee Ji-hoon going 3 and 8. Yes, quite a stark contrast to his Korean League.
Right.
Performance. And that 3 and 8, he actually won his last game. So
right. Okay.
Could have been even worse.
Yeah, so it could have been even worse. Wang Je-rei, obviously not made for the Jia League, 0 for 13.
Yeah, look at that. 13 games, 0 wins. That's
must be tough.
That's frustrating. Like you just keep playing, just hoping to get your first win, and it just never comes.
Yeah, that's just it must be devastating for I think he might just be a child as well, not even 18. So tough. Maybe after this season, the coach may decide that maybe he's just not made for it, and they just cut him out. Not sure. And then we got Kim Myung Hyun, 6 out of 14. It's just under half. So not so terrible that it's complete garbage, but he is.
He would have been hoping for better.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now and then we got Kerje.
Here we go.
Complete disaster. Plays 14 times, but
to see Kerje 7 wins, 7 losses, it's just like if someone were to tell you this 4 years ago, that Kerje in the 2022 Jia League would go 7-7, just unfathomable. Yeah, it's just what is happening.
Yeah, and the speed of deck decline is just crazy. Last year he still won, as I mentioned many times, the best main player award. And this
he actually won the MVP.
No, the MVP
went... sorry, not the MVP, the best main player.
Yeah, main player, which is more prestigious than MVP. Just crazy stuff. Kim Ji-sok hasn't had a fun time as well, winning 3 out of 9.
He didn't go too well, but I think he finished strong. So
yeah, okay. And then of course we talked about Yama, 0 for 3.
Yeah,
I think Yama definitely expected to have won at least 1 game, if not 2. So
he absolutely should have beaten Rong Yi.
Yeah,
I keep coming back to that game, but I encourage people, if they're a big fan of Yama Yuta and they want to make themselves miserable.
Yeah.
Just look at that game.
Yeah. He got so close as well. Now Shea Hao is a bit unfair. He won 7 out of 15.
Well, you can see his performance was just 1 win below expected. So really, I would say there's only really 9 underperformers.
Yeah. So that's, and then now to the overperformers. Now this is also an interesting list. We got Dang Yifei winning 10 out of 13. So that's about 2 games more than expected. Byung Sang-yeol winning 9 out of 11, which is pretty decent. Yang Dingjin.
I should point out, Byung Sang-yeol won 9, lost 2, and his team still didn't finish in the top 8.
Yeah. Well, maybe teammates. And then we got Yang Dingshin. Now, a player as strong as Yang Dingshin is only expected to win 9 out of 15 games in the Jia League. So that kind of speaks to the quality of his opponents. Yes. But he ended up winning 11, so which is decent. Chen Yunong, I see him sometimes commenting on Fox, but he's also actually a strong player. So 8 out of 12.
8 out of 12 is very good.
That's very decent. Hu Zihao, the young boy, 4 out of 10, respectable for a young 15.
Yeah, he was thrown to the wolves, and he came out not bad.
And if I recall correctly, Kerje's first season in the Jia League went something like 3-7 or something, or maybe worse than that. Maybe like 1 win out of 7 or something, or 3 wins out of 7 or something. So so you got to start somewhere. And then you got your Tan Xiao 9-14, Lee Zhe-rui, even winning 2 games is good. Is good for him. He's expected to win 1-0 basically out of 7. So there's something about that. Chen Shen we talked about, and Li Weiqing done pretty well, 10 out of 13.
Li Weiqing had a very good league. Yes.
Yeah. Now to the overall win stats, I'll just go through a couple of them.
There's one more player that we should point out in the overall win stats, and that is Li Junhao.
Li Junhao, yeah. His rating is so high that winning 13 out of 15 doesn't put him in the top 10 performers. It's kind of expected. Yeah. That's just crazy. And of course, Li Chunhao is, of course, the talk of the town. He's recently been Sin Jin Soi. And he may be, unless he's cheating, he's probably one of the best players in the world right now, basically.
I think as each day passes, I'm more and more convinced that he's legit.
Yeah.
I think he's legit.
Yeah.
The question will never be answered definitively, but he has had regardless, he's had a very good Jia League.
Yeah.
There was a funny picture that you posted of Yang Dingjin closely observing one of Li Junhao's games.
Yeah. and I'm gonna just find that picture. But
While you find it, I just want to point out, just to reiterate, Yang Dingjin, of course, he was the one who made the most notable accusation of cheating against Li Junhao.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that they're actually teammates in the Jia League.
Yeah.
So they both play for the same team.
Yeah.
Some teammates they are.
Yeah.
But so this is the picture. So on the left is a very sloppily dressed Yang Dingjin.
Very attentive though.
Very attentive to two quite well-dressed players in Li Junhao and Fan Tingyu.
Yeah. And
the funny thing was, Li Junhao, he won 13 and lost 2. This was actually one of his losses.
Yeah, so possibly from pressure from Yang Dingjin, just being eyed the whole way.
Yang Dingjin, the path to the toilets is probably... Yang Dingjin's probably blocking the path.
for standing guard over there. And this hasn't come to that, but I do believe in Chinese chess, which is Shangqi. One of the top players. In fact, he's ranked number 2 in China. He literally brings a signal blocker to the games, and he's also done a similar thing where he kind of accused the number 1 of cheating with AI. So he actually brings his own signal blocker. So I don't know. I don't know if Yang Dingjin would be allowed to do that. Crazy stuff.
But also in the doing well, it was Li Qingchen. He had 12 wins, 3 losses.
Yep.
Shi Wei, the veteran. 10 wins, 3 losses.
Yeah.
Very good. And
Wang Xinghan.
We have a veteran, and then we have the future.
Yeah.
Wang Jinghao, 10 wins, 3 losses. I've been talking up Wang Jinghao for quite a while.
Yeah.
Probably since this podcast started.
Yeah.
And he didn't let me down in the Jia League. He had a very good Jia League.
Yeah, very nice.
So Yang Dingjin, like you said, he was one of the top overperformers. Fan Tingyu had a good one. He only played 11 rounds. I think some of that was because of COVID. He had to withdraw from a couple of rounds. Tall Jiaxi had a good one. Now Shinjin, so he actually went 7 wins, 3 losses.
Yeah.
Which to him is underperforming.
Yeah.
But he only played 2/3 of the possible games he could have played.
Yeah. But 70% is a decent win rate.
Park Jun-won, now he's in Kerjae's team.
Yeah.
Kerjae went 7-7. Park Jun-won went 9-5, which is obviously better.
Yeah.
But still probably below his expectations.
Yeah. And I think that's why kind of Shenzhen, their team only came, I believe 8th, and have to start from the very, very beginning of the round. So I think that's
they actually finished 6th.
Wow, 6th. All right, okay. And then the full list is available in the post.
Yep. I just want to point out one more player.
Yeah.
Rong Yi actually he played 4 games. He won 1 game.
Right.
And you know who that win was against, right?
Yeah, Yamayuta.
Yamayuta.
Yeah, so he's not he is near the bottom end, but unfortunately, for Yama, that was not his day. Now, of course, Gaza, after the regular season, we have the postseason, and you can see in this complicated chart here where the game starts by having 5th playing 8th and 6th play 7th.
Yes.
The postseason format is slightly different.
It's a step ladder, right?
Yeah, it's a step ladder. As you can see, he kind of like the winner.
Now when 5th plays 8th, they don't just play. Now in the regular season, each match is 4 games, right?
Yes, that's right.
So when 5th plays 8th, it's not just 4 games, right? They play 4 games twice.
Yes. And I call that round 1 and 2. But it 4 times, twice, 4 games each. Then
in the first match of 4 games,
they
don't have a main player board, right?
No, they don't have a main player board.
And then in the second match, they do.
Yeah, in the second match they do. And how they determine the winner is basically first compare the total number of wins over the 8 games. If that's a tie, the main player game decides who goes through. So because it's played over 2 rounds, 4 games each, the main player's contribution is a little bit lesser than in the regular season, where if it's a draw, you get extra point. But in this case, it's kind of only in the case where it's a 4-4, then the main player gets to decide the result. So
yes. So, now when fifth plays so 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, they all play in the first round.
Yep.
Then 3rd and 4th, the teams that finish 3rd and 4th in the regular season, they get a bye to the second round.
Yep.
Now, the teams that finish 1st and 2nd, they get a bye to the 3rd round, which is the semi-finals.
Semi-final, yes.
So 1st and 2nd place, they're guaranteed to finish in the final 4 in the championship.
Correct.
And each of these, and then whoever wins those semi-finals, they play in the grand final. Yep. And each of these matches is 2 matches of 4 games each. Yep. Yeah, and then like you said, one of those games is a main player, is a main player game, which is the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, the bottom 8 teams, they play as well in a relegation battle.
Yes.
And it uses a similar sort of stepladder format, but in this case, you advance if you lose.
Yeah.
If you win, you're essentially eliminated, but you're eliminated from relegation, which is a good thing.
Yes.
And in this case, the teams from 9th to 12th, they play in the first round. Then teams 13 and 14, they already get placed in the second round.
Yep.
And teams 15 and 16, they get placed in the third round. And whoever loses the third round games get relegated. 2 teams actually get relegated.
Yeah. So
the teams that finish 15th and 16th, they'll only play 1 match, but they have to win it.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
The one thing that was very interesting was that Ding Hao's team, they were actually finalists in the last season of Jia League, and in this regular season they only came 10th. So yeah, they were in the relegation battle. So which is a bit unfortunate for them, but tough luck.
Yes, I believe 3. I haven't followed all the teams religiously, but I do follow the teams with the Korean players.
Yeah.
And 3 Korean players ended up making the top 8.
Very nice.
Shin Jin-so was one of them. Park Chun-hwan was another. And surprise, surprise, Kim Ji-sok.
Oh, wow.
His team finished 5th. So.
Wow, that's pretty decent.
Meanwhile, players like Shin Minjun and Byun Sang-il, and Kang Dong-yoon as well, who had a good Jia League, they actually have to fight in the relegation battles.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a bit unfortunate. So these are all the pictures in the Jia League. There's a lot. I didn't actually end up posting them on the Reddit, but yeah.
Now, the first round, all 8 games of the first round, the playoffs have finished. Yeah. But we are not quite sure what the results are because they're difficult. It's annoying to find them.
Yeah. They're probably like somewhere. I think I only like to follow like Kerje's results. Maybe that's why I kind of just haven't looked into it too much. But I'll just update you on the interesting games.
Well,
I guess.
Okay, I will tell you that 5th place and 8th place, Team Chuzhou.
Yep.
Was in 5th, and they played 8th place, which is Team Zhejiang. Zhejiang.
Yep.
Now, I don't know how they went today, but yesterday, Team Chuzhou won 3-1.
Right, that's right, yeah.
And Shenzhen, that's Kerje's team, Shenzhen, they finished 6th, and they played Team Jiangxi, who finished 7th. And I believe Shenzhen ended up advancing.
Yep.
They won the match.
Yep. So in the first round, both Kerje and Park Jun-hwan won. And I do believe the second round happened today.
That's correct.
Yeah, and it was still ongoing, and something really incredible have happened today, which is that there was a quadruple ko between Park Jun-hwan and Gu Zihao, and that's how the game ended up being a draw, and they had to kind of replay that. And this is kind of when the situation happened. This is what the Kifu looked like when the quadruple ko happened. So there's a 2 codes here. One more ko here, one more ko here.
Very small image, mate.
Yeah, very small image. Yeah, but that's how the Kifu ended up looking like. A bunch of codes everywhere. I haven't looked at
there's a couple of codes on the right and a couple of codes in the top left.
Yeah, so and ended up being a draw, and they had to replay. And I do believe Park Jun-hwan ended up losing the replay. But
that's right. Park Jun-hwan lost the replay, but it didn't matter because his team had already won the.
So match. They must have either drew 2-2. Or something, yeah. Must have drew 2-2 or better. Because in the first round they won 3-1, and so that's it. And now the game for tomorrow have already been decided. The matchups. So in tomorrow we have Shenzhen playing Chengdu. So Chengdu, I believe, finished in the top 4 anyway, somewhere around there. And some interesting matchups. We got Kerje playing Fanting Yu in the fast game, and Park Jun-hwan taking on Liao Yuanhe. And then Shiria playing Dang Yifei, Tao Xingyan playing Tu Xiaoyu. So both teams are very strong on paper.
Yeah, they're stacked. Both teams are stacked.
Crazy. And then we have Zhejiang versus Chongqing.
So Zhejiang actually won. Yeah. They beat Chuzhou.
Yeah, looks like it. And although I don't know the results, but I know the matchup tomorrow is Xu Jiayang versus Li Chuanhao, Tan Xiao versus Li Xiangyu, Zhang Tao versus He Yuhan, and Tong Mongshen versus Yang Dingxin. So both teams look a bit uneven, to be honest. So I don't know who's going to go through.
Well, Chongqing have a very unbalanced team. They've got Li Junhao, Yang Dingxin, and then 2 sort of average players at best.
Right, yeah. And then in the relegation battles, we got Hangzhou Dragon, which is Ding Hao's team. So they're putting in Ding Hao versus Hu Zihao in the fast game. So that's
okay. So that means Team Rizhao.
Yeah.
They must have won the first relegation battle. That's Shin Minjun's team. So that means Shin Minjun has avoided relegation.
Very nice. And then we have the other interesting game was Kim Young-hyun versus Jin Yucheng. Jin Yucheng is a very up-and-coming young player. He's probably going to form the core of the next generation along with Wang Xinghao. But he hasn't, had, fantastic results yet. He's just going about 50% in the Jia League, which is still very decent. And then we had Fan Yin versus Byung Sang-il. So that's going to be interesting.
So Byung Sang-il's team must have lost.
Yeah, that's how they. I believe in the regular season they finished 10th, so they must have lost to kind of ended up.
Henzhou Dragon. That's Byung Sang-il and Ding Hao.
That's right, correct.
And they finished 10th.
Yeah, unfortunately. I think that the mid table were very, very close. They are literally at 1 or 2 points apart.
Yeah, so. and they've lost this game, so they're still trying to avoid relegation.
Yeah, imagine Ding Hao's team being relegated. That would be disaster. Yeah. And then we have the what's it called, Lhasa versus Tianjin. So Tang Weishin's team. So we got Tang Weishin versus Kang Dong-yun in the fast game.
What are the 2 teams?
Tianjin and what's this one? Lhasa. That would be.
It's not
Tibet.
Zhejiang?
Yeah.
Which one's that?
There's Tianjin and Lhasa. Lhasa would be, what do you call it? Tibet. I can't remember. I can't remember what I put in the Jia League post. So let's quickly have a look. Let's quickly have a look at the names. So we have Xizang, yes. Xizang.
Yeah, Xizang. Okay, yeah. So they must have lost to Shanghai Jianchao.
Yeah. So that's Tang Weishin versus Kang Dong-yun. Xie Hao versus Shin Peiyang. And the other interesting is Chen Yaoye versus Wang Zhejin. And then nothing too interesting. So that's happening tomorrow. So the Jia League will continue. Looking forward to the postseason when Shin Jinso appears in the semi-final, and that will be definitely something to watch.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the Jia League Gaza, and I don't think I have any other topic that I wanted to cover in mind and before we go to the calendar.
Yes, let's go to the calendar.
Let's go to the calendar Gaza. Now in the calendar, what we have is of course the big ones. Jia League postseason. It will run all the way to the 15th, which is the Wednesday next week.
Yeah, and there really isn't much in the Korean calendar.
Yeah.
During that time,
Mm.
like there's a Korean Kiwon game. There's a Maxim Cup game. Oh, there is a Maxim Cup game on Monday.
Right.
Maybe we should put that one in because it's Choijong versus Han Sang-hoon.
Very nice.
Yeah, so we'll put that in the calendar. Choijong's playing on Monday. It's a round of 16 game for the Maxim Cup.
Nice. And I think now while you're looking up the other ones, Gaza, there's a big one on the Thursday and Friday, which is the Kisei Game 4. So Shibano Ichiriki.
Kisei Game 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I do believe this is correct, the Jia League Grand Final is on the Friday to Saturday. So by the time if we do the podcast at the usual time of Friday, we would have seen one half of the Jia League Grand Final. And of course, in the Korean League, Team Japan, it's going to appear on Friday as well.
On Friday, the Team Japan will be playing, and they're going to be playing Team Wonick, who seem to be the in-form team. So
yeah,
we'll be looking the upset of all upsets if they end up winning that one.
Yeah, let's hope that Japan can get at least one win, one match win. But let's see.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Team Kicks is actually playing on the Saturday, and if that's the same day as the second match of the Jia League final, Shin Jinso may have to play 3 games in one day again.
All right. Oh well. Let's see. Maybe it's not worth it. Not worth playing him. 3 games in a row. It's too tiring. It increases the chance of losing.
Yes.
But he remains their best player. So. All right, Gaza.
Yeah, but it looks like next week we're gonna be mainly talking about the Jia League.
Yeah, and also probably the Kisei, and hopefully a little bit of the performance of the Team Japan while we're live.
I wonder if there's going to be any North American or European games next week.
Now, Gaza, that's a good question. It might be worthwhile doing a quick check. I usually just go to the European page. What is next week? Next week would be 13th to 17th, sometimes like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, nothing looks big. Yeah, in fact, it's actually empty in the calendar.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they will develop a thriving scene at some point. And the other website I can go to is US Go. They don't have anything look like. Well, anyway, it's not that. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing that I can tell anyway. But
lame. Okay.
I'm not
well,
really sure.
One thing I do want to mention. It's not next week, but this is one of the biggest events of the year. So maybe more than 1 week of preparation is needed. But the Nongshim Cup is coming back.
Yes,
is coming back on the 20th. The Nongshim Cup. So get ready for that one. Ayama Yuta versus Park Junhwan.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yes. Definitely always looking forward to the Nongshim Cup. I have already purchased my Nongshim noodles in preparation.
I've already got Nongshim Cup noodles. Yeah. I'll have them.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. In fact, I was eating one before today's podcast. So yeah.
Oh, that's very good. Yes.
Very good. Right. Okay, Gaza. Now, thanks for another very interesting episode. And I think it's time to say goodbye to the.
My pleasure. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yes. All right. Thanks for all the chat, and we'll see you